friend, business associate, and seeker of humanity. Jeff Welger is our guest on today's Humanity Moments.
It's great working for a company that, which we're going to be talking about, has incredible values as their foundation and infrastructure, and they live up to it.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. And for those of you who have been with me for some time, you know as well that I'm a huge fan of Jeff's foundation. So if you can also just do a quick little,
Sure.
yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. So in 2019, my family and close friends of the family started a foundation called the Krista and Saul Welger Foundation. And the foundation basically is a tribute to and memory of my parents, who were both pioneering Paralympians. Back in 1960 was their first Paralympic Games. Dad was a basketball player, mom was a swimmer. They actually met at those games. They were from two different countries, fell in love, got married, and then both competed in the second Paralympic Games in Tokyo in 1964.
Some of the things that you love about what that arch does.
Absolutely. You know, whenever you join a company or whenever you're part of a company, you go through that initial orientation and you hear about the values of the company and you hear about the mission statement, and they sort of give you that corporate speak from an overarching sense. And in most cases it's factual, it's there, and you feel it and see it. With companies that I've been with, past ones, not Arch, while I was there, I didn't necessarily see the outcome of it. I heard the words, but I didn't always see the actions. One thing that was evident with Arch right from the beginning is they practice what they preached. So being part of the events team since I joined, there was always a charitable component or a give back component to just about every event we did. So as we would plan an event, whether it's an internal event, something like a holiday party, a client event, we took clients away for, a bonding or networking opportunity. In most cases, right about the 90% level, we include a charitable element or a give back element to the event. It takes time out of the agenda. It is allotted when the meeting is built. And it's a way, and often we'll also give back to a localized charity or association. So for instance, when we travel to some destinations where a meeting might take place, yes, we could easily go to the large ones, the American Heart Association, of things of that sort, but we don't. We actually pick some of the local ones. So if we're in that town, a good example, we just did a meeting. I was there 2 weeks ago in Orlando. We found a charity that is specific to Orlando. They actually have a property and a physical brick and mortar space in Orlando that helps terminally ill children. That we opted to help that charity. And we had a 2-hour event where we helped the charity prepare for their events with all of the supplies and organizing they need to do. So we did get to meet one of the families. They call them the alumni family. So someone who would have been at their location. And they were part of the event as well. So one, it was a give back, but two, to actually reap the benefit and see who you are helping in the process was a big part of that as well. Arch, one, makes it a priority that it's incorporated in the agenda. They have no issue with the financial support that it requires. These often are some financial support in addition to the activity. And then really just to see and hear the comments afterwards, because often when you're away for a business meeting, you kind of are so focused on whatever that topic might be, you lose sight. And yet when we receive the feedback from these meetings, like in Orlando, I'm already getting some of the feedback, that event gets noted in the comments. Great event, overall. I learned a lot, but how great was it on Wednesday afternoon when we helped, give kids the world? And to think that it must resonate, that they think enough to put it in an open-ended comment area where they could have mentioned anything, the meeting, the dinner, the people they met, whatever it was, they're mentioning the charitable element of it. So I love doing it, and it inspires me every time, where I get to have not just fun, but walk away a bit more fulfilled just from doing my job.
That's fantastic. I mean, and have you seen that some of these comments or some of the increased engagement or morale, or that it helps the people within the organization that are contributing to productivity and profitability and all of that? Do you think it ties in?
I think it does. It's probably a hard
Hard to quantify,
correlation to
huh?
make, I would
Yes.
imagine. Yeah, if
Mhm.
you had to quantify. But
Yeah.
I do, and our values definitely incorporate the concept of what you just described. By helping others, you take that forward to you when dealing with a client, or dealing with your coworker, because the takeaway is helping others.
Yeah.
Helping others doesn't have to be in the charitable arena only. It
Right.
can be in any arena. So I think that comes out of it, is the helping others, but even the give back where there's a selflessness to it. And the same idea of whether with your colleagues, with a client, or with, whatever it might be, a connection, a colleague, the person looks like they might be having a hard time. Let me ask if I can lend a hand. That could be in the workforce. You see a stressed out colleague working on a project. Hey, is there anything I can do to help? I believe, and I want to believe, that doing the charitable elements contribute to that mindset when the opportunities present themselves on a one-to-one basis, or maybe even a group by group. And sometimes it could be really simple. Like we did our last holiday party pre-pandemic. We chose to do an element that was a little bit different. And what we did is we simply did a sort of a donation drive of belongings, because we chose at the time to help sort of under less privileged or homeless shelter environment, those that have to go through kind of that time. Things that are always needed are things like, and this was during the winter, but it's like gloves and hats and scarves and maybe like blankets. We were shocked to recognize after the fact, because what we did is we did a drive where they could simply bring an item and drop it off, and then we took at the party, and then we took care of getting it to where it needed to go. We had a 97% participation. If you had to sort of find a thread in all of this, there's a thread of selflessness. And selflessness applies to anything, your personal life, your professional life. And I do believe, even though that's a very personal thing, selflessness, it has the word self in it, I think it can be contagious.
That is a great one to leave us with. Thank you so much for your time, Jeff. I always appreciate you. And I hope that those of you who are watching are inspired to add a bit of selflessness into your day and your world. Thank you.